Greetings everybody, I'm Amy from Amy Baughman Sew and Quilt, and I've got a fun, free Mylar Spooky Spidey. See how shiny and sparkly it is? For those of you who kind of get afraid of metallic thread, Mylar is the answer. So we're going to make this cute little Mylar bag. I'm going to show you how easy it is to embroider with Mylar and show you how quick and easy it is. Oh, there's stuffing in there. Take the stuffing out. To do a nice lined bag where you don't see the zipper tape in 2 easy steps. So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to head over to the embroidery machine and we are going to show how easy the Mylar is. All right, so here at the embroidery machine, now for those of you who don't know, Mylar is kind of like the Mylar for the balloons. There's different grades of Mylar like everything else. So my Spidey, you can see it how cross stitch right here. I hooped my fabric that was prepped with my stabilizer and I just laid my Mylar on top. The machine embroidered through it super easy and it looks kind of strange. So you can just gently tug and the Mylar comes off. Super easy. Just going to tug it and pull it. You can save these crumbs if you want, if you're a crumb saver. Now the only time Mylar is tricky is when there's a lot of tiny detail you have to weed it out of. So we're going to pick it out from behind his eyes, and it makes almost a perfect circle, the density of how it's done. If you don't pick out between his legs, that's okay, but I really want you to clean out his eyes first. That sounds awful. I want you to poke out his eyes. So because we're going to put white thread on top of that. So you just take your tweezers. These are my little unicorn tweezers. And see how it just rips underneath there? Just get in there and just kind of pull it out in chunks. It'll be good. Just like that. And clean it up a little bit, because we're going to stitch over the edge of the Mylar. So it's really not going to make much difference. So after you stitch out the purple, then you're going to stitch out the white eyeballs. And when it does the black, it's going to do this kind of spidery, jagged outline and put his little pupils in. And you are done with the embroidery. It's super, super quick. You can put this on a garment if you want, just wash it inside out, and Mylar really doesn't take a lot of heat. When it gets hot, it loses its shine and becomes kind of dull. But realistically, this little spider is probably going to not, need a whole lot of washings because you're just making this cute little bag. So here's the bag here. The background fabric I did was glow in the dark fabric. Gee whiz. Okay, so super simple. Here's what you need. You need the embroidered piece that you trimmed. I'm just struggling. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen with the camera angles here. I have no idea what's wrong with me as far as making him there. There's part of it. I cannot put it where you can see it. That's crazy. Nope. I don't know what the heck's going on. So I cut this about 5 by 7, right? You get the idea. All right, so he's about 5 by 7. I cut a piece of lining 5 by 7, 2 pieces of lining 5 by 7, and another back 5 by 7. And I grabbed a zipper. Now you can see how long my zipper is. It's much longer than you really need, but because I don't want to sew through the metal tabs, I want to have room to do this. The difference between a 9-inch zipper and a 12-inch zipper is 11 cents. For the 11 cents, I'd prefer not to break a 20-cent needle. So that's kind of Amy math right there. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to kind of put this little bag together, and we're going to go from there. All right, so I'm at my machine, and I have an adjustable zipper foot on here. And what this adjustable zipper foot does, there's a little knob in the back. Let me take it off so you can kind of see it. So you can see how the foot slides back and forth. It's like it kind of goes where I want it. I'm going to put my needle down, and I'm going to kind of line it up next to that little groove and tighten it up a little bit, because I have, everybody has a zipper foot for their machine, which is great, right? So, but this lets me get really tight and close to my zipper tape any way I want to do it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our spider, take the spider, and here's my back, my front, my back, my lining, and my lining, and we're going to go right sides together, pretty sides together, right? There's also a PDF you can download, so once you watch the video, you don't have to watch it anymore. And I'm going to take my zipper, and for right now, I'm putting the zipper tape, the zipper teeth, way out, way off the edge, right? Way off the edge, way off the edge. So those are right sides together, and this is right sides together. Now, if this scares you to sew this all at one time, so I have the lining and the pretty fabric all lined up in the edge of the zipper on a zipper tape, all lined up at the edge. You can take a couple clips to hold it in place. Okay, and now I'm going to come over to the machine. And I'm going to stitch down my zipper and my lining and my front fabric. So on the zipper tape, there's these little tiny grooves. You'll see a little chevron that's right next to it. The zipper foot kind of just a crumb away from the zipper tape. And something you might not know, these clips, if you clip it this way, it kind of bangs around and doesn't lay flat. You always want the clear place at the bottom. Just FYI when you use your clips. You can back stitch if you want to. I didn't have a need to. So when I open this up and I roll it back, you can see the lining is where it's supposed to be and the zipper is where it's supposed to be. We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to right side to the right side of our zipper, and make sure you match, all your edges up, and right side to right side. Just want to take a second here to make this right. Get everybody pulled out of the way. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to sew right down that same kind of woven chevron that's in the zipper. So both of my pieces have the same distance between the zipper and the fabric. So now when I open it up, there's my right sides. There's my lining sides looking all pretty. Now you would take this to the iron and press, right? We want to make sure this is nice and pressed and flat, and the same here. And I want you to take the time to edge stitch the top of the zipper. And this is where I love that adjustable zipper foot, because I can get so close to that zipper tape. Okay, so you're going to want to do that on both sides. All right, so we have both sides top stitched down, and I did that in a dark fabric so you would see. And you see what I did? I pulled my zipper to the middle, right? So it's open on this end. So what I'm going to do, just for the sake of security, because we've all done it where we've actually run over our zipper tape. But I want these to hold for a particular, I want these to be touching for a reason when we turn the lining. All right, get that in there. Get my hand out of the way. Okay, that's all I got to do. I'm going to trim off my zipper tape. I'm going to trim off my zipper tape. Get that out of the way. Now, we are going to stitch this together. We're going to put right sides of our white pretty fabric together. We're going to put our lining fabrics together. Right here, here's the key. When I pinch this zipper, I'm going to pinch it so it folds to the zipper. Folds to the lining. So I'm going to open it up so you can see it. When I fold it in half, I'm going to push it so that that zipper tape is running down the back between the linings. And it's going to be super simple from here. So I'm just going to put a clip and pinch it. So both sides, I know my zipper tape is folded going the same direction on both sides. Now, I normally would not sew this with an adjustable zipper foot. And you can see I didn't perfectly line up everything. So I'm going to start at the lining because we want to keep an opening at the bottom. So I'm just going to sew back stitch a little bit so I can turn it. Now, because this is a bag, I like to sew towards the edge and then back up and then turn. Turn my little gizmo on here. And again, I back up, I reinforce that corner. Now we're going to trim that bulk out of there, of course. So now when we get to here, we're going to make sure we're still lined up nice. Easy does it over the zipper. And of course, you guys know not to use a metal zipper, right? Now, if I would have had a regular presser foot on, it would have gone a little nicer over that hump. All right, same thing. I'm going to stitch to the edge. And I'm going to get to the end. I'm going to reinforce and go back. And I'm going to turn. I'm going to reinforce. Oop, let's back up a little bit. Nothing like sewing off the edge, right? It's okay. My machine can handle a little mistake. Again, make sure everything's folded towards the lining. We're going to take our time when we get up to our little hump here. And same thing, we're going to sew the corner. Reverse. Give it a spin, and I'm going to come in just a little bit. Reverse, so I have some turning room. Now you're going to get rid of all that bulk in the corners. And you can see where I have sewn any extra bulk, or if you didn't sew perfectly square, you can just get rid of it. But right here, it's reinforced in the corner. So now when I trim, I don't think that is going to open up when I poke my holes. You know, we're going to poke a corner, I should say. All right, so this is where the magic is. Now, of course, I left that zipper open so you could peek in there. And we're going to turn this through the zipper. And I really stabilized that that white fabric. I fused some heavy cotton fusible on there. So it's going to be a little harder to turn than if it was just cotton. Let's get them out. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. We're getting there. No, it shouldn't be this hard. And you just keep pushing until everything gets pushed inside. And you just take your time and you work it out. Yeah, this is almost like canvas that kind of turned into canvas after I was done stabilizing it. So it's a little harder to turn than if it was just cotton. But what I want you to see is where the zipper tape folds and how nice that looks. All right, I'm going to take a second to poke that out. There's a lot of bulk in there, But what I want you to see is how nice and square that bag is. So it looks really nice. Now, if this was a legit bag that was going to be used 1,000 times, I would have put tabs on my zippers of fabric so it would look a little even neater than where we're at now. All right, boy, this canvasy, it turned into canvas, all right. It's kind of hard to turn. So I'll play with that so you can see. But now you can see how nice and finished the inside of that bag is. Super cool. The zipper works great. I would add a little tassel or something fun. And there he is. So how cool is that? So when you're done, and after you get everything poked nice and pressed nice, you just reach inside, get your lining, and make sure your lining is all out nice. The neater you work, the better, happier you'll be. And you just kind of turn on that raw edge. You can whip stitch that if you want, but would run the sewing machine right through it. And after you do your Mylar embroidery and you prep your fabric and you fold your zipper the right way, you have got yourself a very spooky Mylar Spidey. All right, now I went ahead and I put a cute little tassel. I just stitched a little tassel onto the zipper. Now if you want to add an extra step, this one I boxed off the corners on the bottom, right? But normally we box corners on the inside. As you can see, I have a little flap right here. I left just the box corners on the outside, so just kind of an extra little detail. So all I had to do was take my bag and just match up seam for seam. I'm just going to open it up just like that. Make sure you catch the lining. So seam to seam, right? And I'm going to stitch right across it. Now the deeper you pinch, the deeper your box is going to be, but you need to pay attention to where your spider legs are. If you're really going to box this, then you might want to change your embroidery placement. So all I'm going to do is stitch across, I guess maybe about 1 inch. Wow, turning this cotton fabric into canvas probably wasn't a good idea. All right, so let's do a little bit. Just going to back stitch. I know it's hard for you to see. Take my time. Okay, so I created this little leg, so to speak, right here. I would fold this up and maybe stitch a cute Halloween button. So it's got this little detail on the outside with a cute little button right there. So that would be super cute. Or you can just leave it just like that. Or you could do it from the inside and not see it at all. So it's your bag, it's your spooky spider. Ooh, and maybe he'll sit down beside her. Oh my gosh. So I hope you enjoy the project. The designs are multi-formatted. You can grab Mylar. We have it here at the store. You can find it anywhere. Push comes to shove. You can go to a dollar store and grab a Mylar balloon or something like that and just use the pieces. So, the more you know, the more you sew. Have fun sewing.